2024 was a great year in elevators and escalators. In that year, we can find some newer elevator models and more new elevators at new buildings. There is also some surprising and interesting news regarding elevator changes in Indonesia, especially in Jakarta. What are the hot topics for 2024? Let's start the hot stuff now. Malls are one of the most important buildings for elevator enthusiasts, since the elevators at the mall can be accessed by anyone. New malls meaning that there are more new elevators to be filled. Most of them are located outside Jakarta, but thanks to some newer transportation modes like LRT Jabodebek, we can reach those places easily, though some people might need an additional online transportation to reach some malls. In Jakarta, there is Agora Mall, which is connected to the tallest buildings in Indonesia, Autograph and Luminary Tower. It features 6 elevators exclusively for the mall, and based on the floor numbering, it becomes the tallest mall in Indonesia. Yes, you don't get it wrong, and its floor numbering is up to the 25 and 26 floor, making these numbers the tallest among other mall elevators in Indonesia. There's also Gavoy, which is a new addition to the legendary Mall Kelapa Gading complex. Even though it just consists of 2 stories, it has total of 7 elevators. All of them are using Hyundai with POS features. Compared to the other outdoor style malls in Greater Jakarta, it is currently the mall with the most elevators. And on the west side of Jakarta, there's finally a new phase of Puri Indah Mall after 27 years, namely Puri Indah Mall 2. Though the mall itself only consists of 2 stories, but the elevators are not bad tall. It features a brand new Schindler 5000s with LCD indicators similar to Pondok Indah Mall 3. Beside of it, there is also 3 parking elevators, which the mall became the first ever PRIM mall to has multi-story parking lot. Moving to Bekasi, there are some new malls that has just opened in 2024. One of the most interesting one is the ones at Delta Mas. Aeon Mall Delta Mas is the first ever Aeon Mall to feature Mitsubishi elevators, with that brand becoming the icon of Japanese elevator brand. It has POS LCD indicators and some other iconic characteristics that resembling elevators at Aeon Mall. It also features one of the first Shanghai Mitsubishi K-Type 2 escalators, both outdoor and indoor models. On Bogor, there is Living World Kota Wisata that is open as the second Living World branch in Greater Jakarta. Just like some newer Living World malls, it features Schindler elevators. It uses 5500 model and standard Linea 300 features. And on Tangerang, there is Isfara Mall that located in BSD City. This mall is the newest entry of the malls at BSD City, which having the same concept to the existing malls like The Breeze and Kibik, which has an outdoor style. Even the mall has only 2 stories, thankfully it has an Koni scenic elevator with POS KDS 330 features. For years, Nidec have been a choice for elevators modernization to a vintage elevator, especially on Gold Star, LG and Sigma elevators. Lately, Nidec is also provides full replacement solution even for the brands other than said previously. Some Nidec mods that we've encountered in 2024 are mostly unexpected and modernize a rare old Gold Star elevators like in Wisma GH and Hotel Cipta. On the other side, it's also modernized the LG elevator at Jakarta Design Center. Besides modernizing some older elevators, Nidec also entirely replaced some elevators, including the ones at Mall Ambassador. It became the last elevator to be entirely modernized, after previously it just only changed the features. The previous elevator was not in a good condition, so the replacement is urgently needed in order to give a more comfortable ride for the visitors. The replacement took a total of 4 months of progress, from January to April 2024. The result is not a bad thought, unless it's quite weird that the capacity is still small compared to the other elevator. Not quite far from the previous mall, the mall in the Epicentrum complex at Kuningan also has unexpected elevator changes, in line with the mall's rejuvenation. First, one of the derelict Otis Scenic elevators is now replaced by Koni. It has a nice KDS 330 features, making it indeed more nice than the previous elevator. At least, they have changed their mind from a crappy generic elevator into a better elevator bank. The service elevator also received the change. Unexpectedly, it will use Schindler instead of Koni, it using the standard white linear features. Still remember Plaza Atrium Mall, which used to have Gold Star elevators and several generic updates? In June 2024, the mall name was changed into Millennium Mall, which marked the ownership change. Thankfully, the new owners give the elevators and escalators a new look. Total of 8 elevators and 25 escalators to be replaced by Otis. As of December 2024, all of the old elevators replacement progress have been finished. Some of them are also working except for the remaining service elevators. Most of them are replacement from generics, which most of them are the second update except for the North passenger elevator. At last, let's say goodbye to the generics. On the previous topic, we found an elevator change involved by Otis. In this topic, we will also know that there is another elevator update involved by Otis, which is the second update of the Scenic elevator at Plaza Blok M. This elevator was famous for being the only modern Otis elevator to have Series 1 chimes. The chimes was added during the first mod back in 2015. After the second mod, the chime has gone. At least, it's now finally using its own features instead of using generic ones. But one thing that I dislike about this modernization is that the elevator is slower than before. Kota Kasablanka is the other Pakuan mall in Jakarta that has Malaysian Toshiba elevators other than Gandaria City. Previously, in Gandaria City, most of the Mashiba elevators are modernized with Korean generics. So, earlier we thought that Kota Kasablanka elevators would get the same treatment. It's true by the modernization of the 88 office parking elevators that got modernized by generic in 2020. Time flies, and unexpectedly, there's a greater and better elevator update at this mall. One of the passenger elevator banks is getting changed, either modernization or replacement by Otis. That's a great chance, as it's no longer using a generic. But what's unexpected is the elevator is not old enough. It's still 12 years old. 5 months pass, and the results are in. It uses standard features, but at least it's not a generic. Some accessibility features are retained on this elevator, including the handicap panel, and it's now use voiceovers. It is unknown whether the older elevators will be replaced too, or maybe not. Remember the elevators at Gading Riverview? In 2020, half of the Schindler 300P elevators at that place got replaced by a generic. Replacement progress finished in 2021, leaving 2 original Schindler elevators on each tower. That seemed unfinished until 3 years later, a surprising update occurred on this apartment complex. Yes, finally the elevators are receiving the very nice update as the rest of Schindler elevators are getting replaced by Koni. It has a nice KDS 330 features and indicators with Kony information font. Indeed, it's a great replacement instead of crappy generics. Also, the capacity has been increased into 1,300 kilograms, making it more space especially for the service elevators. As far as confirmed, the elevators at 3 out of 6 sections are now replaced. Could the generics also be replaced someday? Now moving on to the elevator related hot topics. Destination dispatch system are now demanded by most of the building management as it can diversify the people's traffic, as the office elevators can be crowded. So, destination dispatch is needed to diversify the traffic. Also, destination dispatch can give extra security, notably when accessing a certain floor is restricted by a keycard. In 2024, there are two notable DDE upgrades on elevators. The first one is Panin Tower, which occurs at the Schindler 500P. The port itself restricted the people to reach the office floor without a keycard. However, people can still access B2 and 7th floor, as on both floors there is a public retail tenant. The upgrade itself is quite confusing. The main panel, which is located between elevators 1, 2, 3, is also connected with the back panel that is located between elevators 4, 5. When pressing the main panel, there is a chance that you will get assigned to elevator 4 at the back. It also happened vice versa. The second one is located at Bidakara 2 office tower. Besides DDE upgrading, the elevators also received an upgrade in which the elevators are replaced from not so old CC Otis elevators. The replacement is indeed a great choice, especially as the Bidakara 1 office tower already used Mitsubishi. The destination dispatch system itself gives additional security, so it would restrict people from entering office floors, and also giving a clear designated elevator as different elevators are serving different floors. Launched in 2021, this elevator model is the successor of the regular Nexias MRL, which are still being produced and used on most new Mitsubishi elevators. After 3 years, we have finally found one of the examples of the certain model, which is located at Graha H Home near the Senopati Road. It gives a slightly improved car panel inside, which is more posh looking, but the buttons are still using the regular Nexias ones. Nexias MRL version 2 is still less common than the older Nexias MRL, since currently the maximum capacity of that elevator is only up to 1000 kilograms. That means for the elevator exceeding 1000 kilograms, the option is only limited to the regular Nexias MRL series. Also, the inner panel design is quite similar to Nexias S design, which are designed for home use elevators. So I guess this elevator model is still designed for light use, like in Graha H Home, which is a small residential and retail building, but needing a bigger elevator than just a small home lift which only 4050 kilograms of maximum capacity. Since it's announced on the 2021 annual report of Schindler, it's confirmed that Schindler will be used for the second phase of MRT Jakarta project, from Tamrin to Jakarta Kota. It's obviously a better choice after they use Otis for the first phase and once using a generic on ASEAN Station. But at that moment, we were still waiting until at least 2027 to ride our first Schindler heavy-duty escalators. Eventually, we don't need to wait longer to see that thing. In 2023, MRT Jakarta installed 2 additional escalators on Istora and Duku Atas stations. 5 companies are applying for the construction, and the choice goes to Tangguh Duta Merlin, a construction company from Jakarta. At that moment, we still didn't know yet the brand, as the winner isn't an escalator company like the infamous Fuji ones. A year passes, and finally, the new escalators are revealed. It uses Schindler, which unexpectedly. But it's not really a surprise, as we know that Schindler will be used for the upcoming Phase 2. However, some Jakarta elevator enthusiasts thought that it would be Schindler 9700. In the end, it was just a special edition for Schindler 9300, codenamed as 9335. It also became the first ever Schindler 9335 discovered in the wall elevator community. Beside the new escalators at MRT Jakarta, we also got new elevators at several stations of KAI Komuter. The elevators are thankfully nice and aren't crappy generics. At the Bogor line, there are Hyundai elevators at Bojonggede and Citayam stations. Each of them has two identical elevators equipped with Type 21 features and voiceovers, making them more friendly for disabilities. The elevators have 1,350 kg capacity, making them the biggest elevators ever in the whole KAI Komuter system. The elevator's construction began in 2023 and just finished in August 2024. While at Rangkas Bitung Line, there are Mitsubishi elevators and escalators at Jurang Mangu Station, which just renovated in line with the opening of Bintaro Exchange 2 Mall. It's the second KAI Komuter station to use Mitsubishi after Pondok Ranji, which also built on cooperation between KAI and Jaya Group, who also built Bintaro Jaya. At first, I expected that the elevator to use Nexia's MRL version 2, but in the end, it just used the regular Nexia's MRL model. Despite that, at least it's still nice and better than most of the KAI Komuter's elevators. There's also brand new TKE Tugela escalators at Pasar Senen Station. Actually, the escalators used for the intercity railway section and for the commuter line section aren't available yet. But at some point, exactly from 14 October to 24 November, the escalators can be used for KAI commuter arrivals, making this counted as a part of this hot topic. It's also the first ever TKE Tugela in Jakarta after KAI installed them at Purwokerto and Yogyakarta stations. These two elevator models are related especially in the Asia Pacific. Both of them share the similar looking features and design, and both of them are released in the 2020s. Sigma Acra and Solon 2.0 were released globally in March 2024, while Otis Gen 3 was released earlier at 2021, but in Indonesia, that model was released on 23 August of 2024. All of the models are a direct successor and improved version of its predecessor, such as Sigma Acra, Solon, and Otis Gen 2. As of October, there are no Otis Gen 3 installations yet so far in Indonesia. However, there is one new Sigma Solon 2.0 installed at Tanjung Barat Footbridge, Jakarta. That particular elevator has the feature design similar to an Otis Gen 3 in New Zealand, and that feature itself is only available on the 2.0 series. Still remember one of the hot topic last year? Some elevators at Pondok Indah Mall got a glass door upgrade, which the progress itself started back in June 2023. We once encountered the first update on the State Gallery elevator that has finished last year. The second known upgraded elevator is the South Skywalk elevator that wasn't working for more than a year. The hoarding of the upgraded elevator was once removed on July 2024 after 13 months, which once gave us a clear hope for that elevator. Finally, we can sleep soundly. After a long time to wait, the long-awaited elevator is working since December 2024. Yes, A roughly 18-month wait for a single elevator to be working, and on that period, also only the doors that got replaced into glass doors. The rest are just the same, unless it's now no longer guided. Okay, so that's it for the hot topics in 2024. I'm sure that next year will be amazing and filled with more elevator and escalator hot stuffs. Thanks for watching and let's welcome 2025 together.